Chapter 4 Silver Linings. Korra. Korra lay with her eyes closed, submerged up to her neck in the waters of the healing pool in Katara's home. All around her, water swirled and flowed in miniature currents, awash with the soft blue glow of its natural healing powers. Beneath the surface, Korra's useless body remained just that, useless and motionless. No matter how many times she came here, no matter how many times Katara made her sit in this pool with its stupid lamp overhead that always forced her to close her eyes, nothing ever changed. Katara kept insisting that, with enough time and effort, Korra would be able to walk and run and bend and live again, but Korra knew she was just lying to make her feel better. They had both given up on her recovery a long time ago. Ever since returning home, Korra had at least 3 healing sessions a week, and every single time had gone the same as today. A deep, aching stiffness sank into her shoulders, and a vicious burning sensation flared along the large incision across the left side of her waist. The ever-present stabbing pain in her lower back hurt even worse, radiating all the way up her spine with such intensity that sometimes Korra couldn't stop herself from crying. As for the rest of her, everything else remained unchanged. Her fingers were stiff and numb, her arms felt heavy and unwieldy, and everything below her hips didn't even exist. After nearly 3 months of healing sessions and physical therapy, all Korra had to show for it was the atrophied husk of what had been her once powerful body. Her physical prowess, a proud accomplishment she had honed over a lifetime of effort and exercise, had withered away in the blink of an eye, leaving behind a fragile girl with soft shoulders and numb, weak, dead, useless legs. Someone trying to be nice about it may have called her body lithe or slender, but to Korra, it was barely more than a corpse. She had lost so much weight that Asami didn't even need to use the wheelchair around the house anymore. Instead, she could just pick Korra up and carry her where she needed to go, although she never did so without first getting permission. Korra sank into the water a little more, sighing. Humiliating as her frailty was, at least it had one silver lining. The soft humming of the healing pool stopped. "I think that's enough for now," Katara said. "How are you feeling, Korra?" "Not any different," Korra answered, trying and probably failing to mask her bitterness. It wasn't fair to take her frustrations out on the people trying to help her, but she had always sucked at hiding her feelings. "Sorry." "You have nothing to apologize for," Katara told her. "None of this is your fault." Except it was. So much was her fault, more than anyone knew. She stared at the lamp overhead and felt phantom chains digging into her wrists and ankles as the light seemed to sway in the center of her vision. Stop being an idiot, she thought, frowning. Nothing happened. How could it be her fault if it didn't happen? Katara's voice brought her back to the present. "I have some homework for you this time." "Great," Korra mumbled. Her eyes lowered to her skinny, broken body submerged beneath the water. "There are a number of exercises to build your grip strength that you can do at home," her elder continued. "Wringing a towel, squeezing one of Naga's play balls, that sort of thing. I want you to find one that works for you and spend some time working on it every day. When you have enough strength back, we can move on to dexterity exercises." Grip strength. Korra almost laughed. That was how far Katara's hopes for her had fallen. When she had first returned home, there had been talk of standing and walking within the first month. Katara's confidence had been so infectious that for a short time, Korra had even believed in her recovery too. But now, after months of healing sessions, she still had no feeling below her hips. Standing was out of the question, and being able to walk again was a sick joke. The best she could hope for now was maybe being able to pick something up without dropping it, and that was only if she practiced doing so for months, maybe years. Katara was clearly waiting for Korra to respond, but there was nothing to say. Even the best healer in the world knows I'm a lost cause. After a few more moments of silence, Katara spoke up. "I'll go get your friend then." She left Korra in the healing pool. It wasn't like she could get out by herself. When Asami entered the room, She immediately flashed a smile at Korra. Katara followed close behind. The routine that ended all of these appointments played out as it always did. Katara lifted the water with Korra in it, slowly floating her across the room and down onto a warm towel that Asami had laid out on the floor. As soon as Korra touched down, Katara pulled the water away from her hair, body, and undergarments, leaving her as dry as waterbending could manage. Asami knelt to wrap the towel around Korra's body, then waited for her to give a nod before lifting her up and carrying her to the wheelchair, still parked in the living room. Katara's house was always chilly, but Korra didn't feel it while Asami was holding her. As they passed beneath a doorway, she braved a glance up at her best friend, who caught it and returned it with a grin. Selfishness set a fire in Korra's heart, and, as stupid as she knew it was, she rested her head against Asami's shoulder and softly sighed. Asami held her a little closer. They had stopped walking, which Korra knew meant it was time to lower her into the chair and dress her for the cold, but she wasn't ready to let go yet. That was always my biggest flaw, she reflected. She couldn't help it, though. Swaddled in a warm towel and held snugly in Asami's arms, Korra wished this moment could last forever. It didn't. Asami gently lowered her into the chair before fetching her parka from a hook by the door. Patient as ever, she helped guide Korra's arms into the sleeves, then pulled it over her head. When they had first come south, the parka had been a snug fit around Korra's arms and shoulders, but now the fabric draped loosely over her shrunken frame. As Asami began the process of guiding pants back over dead legs, Korra just stared at the floor, expressionless, stupidly wishing that Asami had held her for a little while longer. "So how'd it go?" Asami asked, looking up briefly from her work. Korra shrugged. Her shoulders ached with the motion. "Same as always," she muttered. Asami smiled at her, but in her eyes, Korra could see the sadness she was trying to hold back. "It'll get better," Asami told her, placing a gloved hand gently over Korra's own. "I know it will." Korra couldn't bring herself to dim that sweet, hopeful smile with the truth. "Miss Sato, I'd appreciate it if you'd remind Korra about her homework," Katara said as she entered the room. "Oh, sure thing," Asami said. She glanced back at Korra, who just rolled her eyes. Korra tried not to think about how she felt nothing as Asami pulled her boots on for her, or about how difficult it was to get her gloves on with her stiff, half-numb fingers fighting them every step of the way. Eventually, the job was done. Korra quietly thanked Katara for her ultimately pointless efforts, and Asami wheeled her out of the door into the cold. It was a moonless night. Korra kept her silence as Asami pushed her down the path toward her parents' house. Above them, the sky was alive with starlight. "You'll have to teach me some of the constellations here," Asami said behind her. "The whole sky is different from where I grew up." She was always offering up conversations about things like this. Normal things, boring things, things unrelated to a hopeless recovery. Korra didn't know how to express how grateful she was for that without sounding like an idiot, but she hoped Asami knew anyway. "You'd be better off asking my dad," she said. "I never had much time to learn that kind of stuff growing up, but I know he always wanted to teach me." "Maybe he could teach both of us," Asami replied with a smile in her voice. "Yeah, maybe," Korra said, but she knew it was unlikely. These days, her father did everything he could to avoid her. There was always some other priority, some meaningless thing that demanded his attention, to the point where Korra hardly saw him anymore. Even when she did, it was like he was afraid to look at her. Her eyes lifted to the night sky, and she wondered what her life could have been like if she had spent more time with her parents growing up, learning about her culture and family. There had been times when she had wanted to, but back then, mastering the elements had seemed so much more important. And she had mastered them, for all the good it had done her. She had sacrificed her childhood, her relationship with her parents, and so much more in pursuit of that goal. Now her body was too damaged for her to bend ever again. Her past lives and all their wisdom were gone, and the new Air Nation could fulfill her duties better than she ever could. Korra had trained her whole life to be the Avatar, just in time for the world to realize it didn't need her anymore. The next few minutes passed in silence. There was a lot of silence in Korra's life now, but with Asami it wasn't so bad. With Mom or Dad or Katara, silence always rose from an unwillingness to talk about things none of them wanted to contemplate, like how Korra would never recover from everything she had survived, or how she never should have survived in the first place. It made sense. Everyone knew those things were true, so talking about them was pointless. Besides, Korra had her own things that were pointless to talk about. Telling people that she was always in pain didn't make the pain go away, and there was no reason to talk about things that didn't matter because they hadn't happened anyway. At least with Asami, silence could just be silence. Not hiding from painful things, but rather an absence of them. Sometimes neither of them felt like talking, and it was just okay. By the time they made it inside, Korra's stomach was growling at her. Thankfully, Asami didn't hear it. Rather than stopping by the kitchen or checking to see if her parents were home, Korra requested they go straight to her bedroom, where Asami lifted her from the wheelchair and helped her into bed. Asami then sat in the chair she had moved in here the other day when she had combed Korra's hair, and the two of them sighed. "I think I'm getting stronger," Asami said, finally. "It's easier to pick you up than it was a couple weeks ago." "Or maybe I'm just getting lighter," Korra said, before immediately regretting it. "I shouldn't be so gloomy. Asami's just trying to help." Her thoughts were broken by a laugh. "I'm serious. Check this out." Asami pulled back up her sleeve and flexed her bicep. If Korra was being honest, she didn't think her friend looked all that different, but she still grinned. Asami was so good at never letting Korra's little moments of depressive bullshit get to her. She just powered right through them, always with that easy, infectious smile, leaving Korra's mood a little brighter on the other side. "This is so messed up," Korra laughed with her. "You're supposed to be the one with the weak nerd arms, not me." "Don't worry, you'll catch back up soon enough," Asami said. "And when you do, you'd better pay me back for all the times I've carried you." Korra felt warmth bloom across her face. She nodded and said, "It's a deal." She hoped she would be that strong again someday. She really, really hoped so. Asami leaned back in her chair, stretching. "So, homework, huh?" "I guess so. Katara wants me to work on my grip strength here at home." "That's a great idea. Did she give you any specific exercises? Anything I can help with?" Korra shook her head. "I don't think so. Sorry. She suggested squeezing a ball or a towel, but I don't know how I'm supposed to do that when I can't even hold one for more than a few seconds." She stared at her hand, trying and failing to will some feeling back into her half-numb fingers. "She also said I could find my own exercises. That's not really helpful either. It's not like I can practice gripping anything when I'm just going to drop it." "That's definitely a challenge," Asami mused. She took hold of Korra's hand and gave it a gentle squeeze. "I'm sure you'll think of something, though." "I'll do my best," Korra said, leaning her head back against the stack of pillows behind her. She had been doing her best her whole life, for all the good it had done her. Her recovery, like so many other challenges before it, would be no different. Even if she succeeded, it would be at a price that wasn't worth it. Aang isn't here to bail me out of my mistakes this time, she thought sourly. Asami didn't reply. Instead, she yawned, gazed at the stars out the window, and squeezed Korra's hand again. And again. Korra glanced at her. "What do you... Oh, don't mind me." Asami smiled sweetly. She squeezed Korra's hand again. "Just practicing my grip strength, that's all." For a moment, all Korra could do was stare dumbly at the pretty girl holding her hand. Then the moment passed. She took a deep breath and squeezed Asami's hand as hard as she could. Her fingers, with their damaged nerves, remained loose, and she could barely hold her grip for more than a second before it gave out. But when it did, Asami's hand stayed right where it was. Korra squeezed it again. She continued her efforts for the rest of the hour. It was painful and difficult, and her cheeks burned through most of it. But Asami looked so proud of her all the same.